Hello, welcome to our channel. We appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for coming. You are the salt of the earth. You are the people that make the world go round. We're going to blow through the news today. Tomorrow is the day of the demons. The Domon-crats start the revolution. Civil War number 2 begins tomorrow. So we're going to talk about that in a minute. First, a little bit from Noble Gold. You know, many times we don't get paid for Noble Gold. Sometimes we do. But it goes into an account. I never see a dime from it. So I want you to know that the disclosure is, yeah, you could lose everything. But how? I don't know. You end up with a bunch of pretty metal. But the LBMA has sure been smacking it down because they're afraid. When gold hits 5,500, it becomes the world reserve currency. So they're afraid, and they control New York City. Anyway, with rate cuts, money printing, balance sheet reversals, they're in total panic. There's an illusion of control, but it's going to break. That's my opinion. And they're cutting rates because they're not cutting rates because they say things are strong. But what's happening is the system is cracking. It's falling apart. Mass layoffs. Inflation's eating savings. There's no more jobs. Fed built a house of paper. Bubbles, bailouts, and broken retirements. Smart investors. When I sold investments, I sold mutual funds that were older than I was and that were conservative. And today, if you invested in the Pioneer and Templeton mutual funds I suggested, you would be doing very well. But everything's falling now. And these mutual funds are based on the value of the dollar. And look at the prices in the grocery store. It's time to invest in gold and silver because numbers on a screen can disappear. You know, Pioneer used to come to your house and do a private investment. Now it's all done through a broker. And my numbers have disappeared. I watched them disappear on the screen. So, call Noble Gold at 877-646-5347 and get your free investment kit. I did. Fascinating investment kit. But when we double the value of our investment in 2 years, I think that's really good.
So they got a Christmas coin out too.
Yes, they do.
Yeah. Wait till we get that.
Oh yeah, we'll talk about that. Oh my God, it's beautiful.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Frosty the Snowman.
Yeah. Nobody can get mad at Frosty.
No.
This is incredible. We're going to have a very, very quick news. We're going to run through it very quickly. Dick Cheney's dead at 84. Darth Vader finally died. Nancy Pelosi. I remember when they found a bunch of dead bodies eaten by pigs on his property. The guy was a nut. Anyway, Nancy Pelosi's not running again. This is Pelosi number 3 because the original died. Lots of voting fraud in New York City and New Jersey. We talked about that. All the conservative polling areas have bomb threats in New Jersey. What do you expect? Massive flight delays across the nation. They're talking about an average flight delay, Jane, of 5 to 6 hours.
Are you serious?
Yeah, you get to the airport at 9 because your flight leaves at 11, and at 7 o'clock you might take off. It's worse, they say, in Dallas. People are walking off the job. They're not getting paid. So we're not even going to get into that. Just be careful. And
it's a mess.
Pizza Hut went woke. They started supporting transvestites, and now they're broke, and Yum is selling the Pizza Hut chain. Yum is owned, of course, by BlackRock, the CIA, which owns Pizza Hut. So they're selling it out and closing it down. They went woke thanks to the CIA. And the care of the veterans. We have 40,000 National Guard and Army reservists that still haven't paid after Trump's been there for 10 months. Rewards from the VA have not been paid in 25 years. Vets, military members, members of the active duty military using the VA hospital must take antipsychotics to use the VA. I want you to think about those. Those who have the launch codes for our nuclear missiles in their pocket have to take antipsychotics to get health care from the VA. Unbelievable. And the VA is still using cheap dental fillings, 75,000 75,000 payments under the GI Bill were blocked by the VA for a technical glitch. 75,000 people on the VA, the GI Bill that pays vets for college, 75,000 of them were blocked. And there's no indication of when that blockage will end. And car production in America is going to shut down 1 December. Trump urged the Dutch in Holland to seize the
chips.
Nexperia Corporation. And the Nexperia Corporation headquarters was there for tax purposes, but they make the chips in China, and China is refusing to ship the chips. Why do we have chips in cars? In 1910, we got 30 miles to the gallon, and the electric cars got a 200-mile range. Detroit Electric in 1931 got a 200-mile range with 30 miles per gallon for the Ford Model T. Why do we add chips to cars? Why do we zig heil ourselves? Trump, be a man, get rid of the chips in cars. And you remember James O'Keefe Media Group? Well, he goes in there to a pastor, Pedro Rodriguez, allowing it, and he's signing up illegal aliens to vote in New York City. So this church lied about the addresses, lied on the forums, lied, and signed up thousands. In fact, one of his workers went in there and posed as an illegal alien. He told them where to go vote, who to go vote for, and how to register to vote, and what the address was to put down on his form. Nobody was arrested. O'Keefe exposes it. Trump arrested no one. So the voting fraud continues. And SNAP benefits 42 million people. Apparently, it's $9 billion a month, and there's no money to pay. So Trump was ordered by the courts to pay. So he sent out $1 billion out of the $9 billion required. The states are going to suck it up. And next month, he has been ordered to pay half of the SNAP benefits by U.S. District Judge McConnell. Violation of the Constitution. Where are SNAP benefits in the Constitution? Nobody has arrested Judge McConnell. Nobody has arrested Judge McConnell. So you are going to pay, it's not 51% illegals, it's about 75%. 35 million illegal aliens are on SNAP benefits out of 42 million. But the press says, 48%, 52. Well, last time I checked, 35 out of 42 is a lot more than 50%. You're paying for illegal SNAP benefits. And have you ever seen anybody in a grocery store use a SNAP benefit for food? Potato chips, Coke, Sprite, Pepsi, candy bars. And if they don't allow them to buy candy bars, they buy health bars, same thing. Have you ever seen anybody buy, things like potatoes, meat,
Flour, butter,
eggs, broccoli? You ever seen anybody on? No. And they are fat. I'm telling you, I don't know what they're eating, but they're eating mostly junk food. And manufacturing activity is down 8 months in a row. It's a lot more than that. Manufacturing activity has been down since the first year of the Biden. In fact, the second Biden took over, he shut down the Keystone pipeline, and manufacturing index started to plummet, and it's still going down. Sales for boxing material, which has been really interesting. Sales of boxing material are down up to 8%. Furniture sales, there's so many furniture stores closing. Smurfit Packaging Corp. International Paper sales are down 4 to 10%. They are losing business. And Trump, how are we doing on time? Good, we're doing fine. This is the most important story. Trump must go now is the crying call for this Civil War number 2. George Soros, Alex Soros, remember Alex Soros?
That's his son.
Huma Abedin,
Yep.
Who married the congressman who posed for a 15-year-old girl? The little pedophile who was he finally arrested? Because nobody on the Epstein list has been arrested. Not Podesta, not anybody. Not Bill Ayers, who admitted to killing a cop with a pipe bomb. Never arrested. Never arrested. Bill Ayers was never arrested for killing a cop. He raised Obama, supposedly. Mm-hmm. He was never arrested for killing a cop with a pipe bomb. So they are the ones that funded Open Society Foundation, and George Soros, right before he died in 2017, now we got George Soros 2, and now we got 3. Open Society Foundation, he gave them $18 billion. Where did he get the $18 billion from? You, the American taxpayer, through the State Department, the Ford Foundation, and lots of other corporations that the U.S. funds that give these libtard organizations money. Tides Foundation, oh, by the way, the Open Society is centered in New York City, New York, and there have been no arrests for this call for Civil War number 2 in New York City, where Trump lives. And the Tides Foundation, located in San Francisco, California, was funded by the Rockefellers, and it's got its address listed right in the computer. And there are no arrests for calling for Trump must go, Civil War number 2, murdering of Americans. There are no arrests of the Ties Foundation. And the Revolutionary Communist Party, located in Chicago, the second financial capital of the United States. The Revolutionary Communist Party doesn't file with the IRS. The IRS has overlooked the fact that it doesn't file for many years. They have given it a write-off. They don't have to tell us. They don't have to obey any IRS regulations. You just take the money, we don't care who from. They're located, again, in Chicago. They're pushing for this Trump must go. And the Refuse for Communism in Boston, Massachusetts. They don't have to disclose their money taking ins, and they don't have to disclose anything on their IRS forms. The IRS has looked the other way at these communist organizations that work for Satan, and they're supporting the Trump must go. As of starting tomorrow, Civil War number 2 begins. Now you know the backers, George Soros, the Rockefellers, and then we don't know about the Revolutionary Communist Party or the Refuse, I'm sorry, it's not Refuse Fascism, it's Refuse Fascism. Just another Antifa. We know who funds Antifa. Antifa was funded by the U.S. State Department to the tune of $1 billion last year. They have been planning this Trump must go now for over a year. The U.S. State Department did not take back the $1 billion they gave to Antifa because Marco Rubio must want this. Just like the airways are shutting down, he must also want this Civil War number 2. Because otherwise he would have taken the money back from Antifa, right, Jane? Why would he not take the money back? The $1 billion they gave Antifa, which would fund the air traffic controllers for 5 months, by the way.
They should all get bonuses.
Well, they're all walking off the job. So the airports, 5 to 10 hour wait, you get there.
They want it that way. They want the people all upset and slathered.
Mm-hmm. They don't want to take the money back from Antifa, the $1 billion. They don't want to take the $18 billion back from Open Society Foundation. They don't want to shut down the websites. The FBI wants the Civil War number 2. And Trump dead on the 11th of November, plus or minus 3 days, for their satanic worship. Trump must go now is supported by these organizations. If you get into a rally, a riot, walk away. Just walk away. Just get in your car and drive off. Do not confront. If they confront you, your only option is to hit them in the face with bear spray or beat the tar out of them. But they're paid protesters. They're paid by George Soros, who was paid by the U.S. government, and they're paid by the Rockefellers, who were paid by the U.S. government. They're paid by either the FBI or CIA. Walk away. Just raise your hands and walk away. Yell whatever slogan they're yelling and walk away. Get out of there. Do not confront. Allen Ginsberg. Remember him? He was a poet, Allen Ginsberg, back in the 60s.
All I remember is Ruth Bader.
Ruth Bader. They protested against the Vietnam War. Well, Allen Ginsberg in 1967 got all his cronies together and they were going to levitate the Pentagon and throw it into outer space. Not kidding. Alan Greenspan. Well, this group is planning to mass on Washington, D.C. and break into the White House and kill Trump. Did you know that?
No.
The goal of George Soros, Huma Abedin, and Open Society Foundation, starting tomorrow, will be to go in and kill the president. And they've got about $20 billion of your money to do this with. But the State Department won't take it back and pay the FAA employees. Absolutely not. They want the Civil War too. They want it to last until the next election, Jane. Can you believe that? Franklin Delano Roosevelt, remember him? Remember him? Violated the Constitution, was president, appointed by the Black Ops for 4 elections, massive election fraud. Well, he said, everything in politics is pre-planned. Nothing in politics occurs that is not pre-planned. This Civil War was planned a year ago. The George Soros Foundation began planning this a year ago. In fact, the U.S. government began planning this about 4 years ago when they started giving George Soros and these communist pigs massive quantities of money. So we're going to get involved in a conflict in Nigeria, one in Venezuela. We're already involved in Israel and the Ukraine because we went coltan, coltan, coltan. And now we're going to start one within the United States of America. We're going to shut the churches down with the IRS. We're going to shut the businesses down. We're going to shut the farms down. We're going to have them begging for food. And you will get the fluorescent mark here. And you'll get the fluorescent mark here. And you will be chipped in order to buy food. I suggest you buy gold, because then you can always buy food. Have you ever seen, they have been planning for the looting of the first they allow shoplifting all over the country. Then they close all the grocery stores. Then they shut off the food supply. And then we have food rioting. And you will get chipped. You will get a chip. You will not get the tattoo on the arm like they did to the people in the concentration camps. You will get the chip here and here. And as my brother in Naval Intelligence said, you'll get one right back here. And then you will have the mark of the beast. And that's it. We're there, man. The digital ID is already being given out to illegals, and they're being marked. The mark of the beast is going on the illegal aliens. There's no way to stop it. The State Department is spending billions to mark the illegal aliens, but they're not opening up the airports. This is all planned. We're getting many reports from many states that food stamps were paid by the states, but they're broke, so expect no roads and no bridge repairs over the next year. We must support the illegals. Like Chucky Schumer said, we will support the illegals before we give food to Americans. And like some of his other Domon-cratic people said, unbelievable. So here we have it. The revolution begins. The Civil War #2 begins tomorrow with organizations that could be arrested by the FBI and websites that could be ordered to be shut down under Google, but it ain't happening. There's no arrests of those who are leading this Civil War #2, and there's no taking back of the money that we gave them. You, the taxpayer, gave them over $10 billion to start this Civil War #2. If you're a working American, you might as well just fork out your $100. Let's start a Civil War #2. Here's the $100. So the Civil War II begins tomorrow. Unbelievable evil coming from the United States government, and Marco Rubio will do nothing about it. The U.S. Treasury will not take back the money, and Trump will not order the taking back of the money. The seizing of the money, the shutting down of the websites. NoKings.org is still working, despite the death of American workers. There's nothing I can do. If he's going to continue to promote murder of the American citizens, there's nothing I can do. Except protect his life, because that's what I'm supposed to do. God bless. Thank you very much. We appreciate each and every one of you. And we will see you bright and early tomorrow morning.